So it's your first time getting a CT scan. My name is Tristan, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what you can expect during your first scan. Now, there are two types of CT scans. One that incorporates the use of contrast dyes, while the other does not. For this video, I'm going to be focusing on the CT scan with contrast dye. After you get the appointment scheduled, they're going to give you two pieces of paper. One is going to be the order for the actual scan, and you're going to give that to the front desk at your appointment site. The second one should contain a list of instructions for what to do before the scan. This mentions barium. I'm going to get into that just a little later, but you are to fast for 4 hours prior to the test, so nothing to drink or eat. The only exception is taking medications with small sips of water. Usually with the CT scans with contrast dye, they're actually going to give you a bit of barium. This is a kind of barium milkshake, so to speak, and you're supposed to drink that 2 hours before your scan. When you arrive, they'll probably give you like a smaller cup of it just before the scan, but you want to make sure to drink this 2 hours before. I actually have a CT scan in an hour and a half, so I'm going to drink mine now. I know people will probably be grossed out about drinking barium, but I don't think it's really that bad. I've gone through a bunch of CT scans. I think like 4 or 5 by now. I can't get this open. There we go. It doesn't really... Oh, wait. It smells like vanilla. It says it's vanilla silk. Barium sulfate USP liquid suspension. Each 100 milliliters contains 2.1 grams of barium sulfate. And this is a 450 milliliter bottle. Yeah, cheers. It's really not that bad, honestly. It kind of does taste good because of the vanilla, I think. Though there is like a, I don't know, slight bitterness, maybe. Next up, your outfit. This is going to be dependent on your facility's policies, but the majority of times for my CT scans in the past, I've actually just worn my normal street clothes. Some other places might have you put on a gown instead, but the main thing with the clothes, just make sure that you don't have any metal, so like buttons or zippers or metal drawstrings, I guess. The ends of the drawstrings. It's not the end of the world if you do have metal on your pants, though. They'll actually just have you slide them past your knees. You will do that under a blanket, though, so your privacy is maintained. In addition to no buttons or zippers, of course, you're not going to be allowed to wear any necklaces or bracelets. They're just going to have you take it off, of course. I think earrings are okay, because generally CT scans are only torso and below, so you should be good there. At this point, you're pretty much ready for the CT scan. They're going to have you lay down with your feet toward the machine, and then they're going to ask you what arm you prefer your IV in for the contrast dye. I know some people may have thought the barium was the contrast dye. It's more so of a contrast medium that helps work with the actual dye. But yeah, you're still going to need to get an IV started. Sorry to those who don't like needles. Now, in regards to this contrast dye, they should let you know prior, but it's going to make you feel a little weird. Nothing like any loopiness or anything. You're going to feel warmth in certain areas of your body. Definitely like the vein that they use. A lot of the times they use my right antecubital vein. But my arm will feel warm. A lot of the times my neck will feel warm. I guess it just depends on the person, but just know that the warmth that you feel is normal. Also, I should have mentioned, they're actually not going to be injecting that dye right away. Once they start the IV is pretty much when the scan itself is going to start. So they're going to have you put your hands above your head, and then you're going to go in for one pass. But on the way out, a robot is actually going to, well, it's been a robot for me, but a robot voice instructs me to hold my breath in and then keep as still as possible. And then you slowly go out of the machine, and then right before you go back in, they're going to ask you if you're okay, and if the contrast dye is okay to be administered. So once that goes in, you go in again, pause a little bit, and then come back out. And that's pretty much it. For me, a lot of my CT scans have been literally 5 to 10 minutes. I wouldn't even say 10 minutes. 10 minutes is pushing it. They're really quick, really quick. And then once they finish up, you're pretty much done. Unfortunately, after the scan, you can't really ask the technicians of the results. It's not really in their scope of practice. I know you're going to be tempted to look in your patient records for the imaging report. Honestly, I kind of suggest against that and just wait for your doctor to explain the findings, because I don't want you to feel too stressed about what the report says. You might think it's something when it's not, or vice versa, and I just think you keep the peace a little bit better if you wait for your doctor. I know a lot of these things take a long time, but that's just how it is sometimes. At this point in time, I'd say it's time for some food. You've been fasting for probably a few hours at this point. You might as well go treat yourself, right? I know after this scan today, I'm going to be getting some hibachi. Double fried rice, by the way. Major key. So anyways, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to summarize the main takeaways from this video. So fasting for 4 hours before, drinking barium 2 hours prior, the warmth feeling you get from the contrast dye, I guess. And, oh, I didn't even mention, so about that contrast dye, you're going to want to flush it out of your system as best as you can. So drink lots of water after your appointment, the couple days after. Because if you don't, it actually has the potential to cause harm to your kidneys. And you and me both know that we don't need anything else on our plate right now, except double fried rice, right? So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I hope everyone's first time getting a CT scan is a little bit easier after watching this video, going into it and knowing what to expect from a patient perspective. If anybody has any questions, of course, feel free to hit me up, leave a comment, and yeah, have a good day. Thank you guys, and until next time.